One is adolescent social competence, and I'm fascinated by cultures around the world and how adolescents move to early adulthood, global families generally, and then Kenyan families specifically.
Is that the only country outside of the US that you've been to and engaged in education?
I have done some work, not as much as in Kenya, but I have done some work in Ethiopia, more recently in Ghana, and then off the continent, I've worked in China and Mexico and Scotland.
Prior to the interview, Professor, you hinted that you are a Peace Corps. Is that where your journey began in Africa?
It is, and it was a long time ago. As I say, the earth was cooling. At that time, there were no computers, there were no cell phones. And so when I had a Peace Corps assignment in Kenya, the first thing I had to do was go to the library and find out where it was. I really didn't know very much. The first year, I was a teacher of all kinds of different subjects at the high school at Gede. The second year, I continued as a teacher, but I became the head teacher, the principal. In those days, it was called the headmaster. And in 2000, 2001, I came to Kenyatta University. So that was the beginning of my more direct relationship with Kenyatta University. Then when I became dean at Oklahoma State University, we also signed a memorandum of understanding. We've taken 3 groups of U.S. students to Kenya, to Kenyatta University, and it was very important to me that they were in classes with KU students, which they were being taught by KU faculty.
So, fast forward to 2020 and now 2021, have you been able to maintain that collaboration during the COVID-19 pandemic?
The relationship continues, and a lot of that is around the same kinds of mechanisms that we used in those early years, email and video conferencing and so forth.
Professor Wilson, given that this pandemic is a global challenge, what is working and not working at the university where you are?
A lot of it is as simple as masks and the hand sanitizer, washing our hands. But the primary things that we have done that have been most helpful have been the social distancing. We are using both real-time synchronous as well as recordings. A number of classes are doing things like hybrid, so maybe a third of the class comes Monday, and then they do the video Wednesday and Friday.
What's missing for students right now, and how can that be addressed?
Adolescence and early adulthood is a time in people's lives when they're looking for a life partner, when they're trying to establish their adult identity personally and professionally. The part that we often don't talk about as deans and department heads is what happens when they go out of the classroom. I think there are many things we can do about the classroom and about the ways we impart information. It's very hard to do that online.
What does the future look like for this collaboration between the U.S. universities and Africa?
Every university in the world today says we want to graduate global citizens who have an appreciation for diversity. Well, what could be better than getting our faculty and students together? If they can't be together physically, can they be together in these other ways? We've learned that they can. By 2035, the largest continent in terms of human population, the largest continent in the world will be Africa. 70% of Africans will be under the age of 30. They're very young. And because they're very young, it means that more than half of the traditional age workers in the world, everywhere, will live in Africa. And that today, good or bad, that today means higher education is necessary.
What next for you, Professor?
We want Africans to produce the bridges and roads and medical systems, not simply outsiders coming in to do that. That is not sustainable in the long run. So yes, I would like to see, for example, the U.S. Embassy be much more focused on higher education, whether it is directly supporting Kenyan universities or whether it is supporting initiatives across Kenyan and American universities. And yes, I'll say it, I would love to be the next ambassador from the United States to Kenya. And if I can be useful to my country, I want to see the United States return to some meaningful, appropriate, positive image in the world. And right now, it feels a little tarnished.